We are less than 24 hours away from New York State Governor Kathy Hochul's annual address to the state legislature, where she details her agenda for this year.
This happens to be an election year for the incumbent Democrat. Political analyst Jack O'Donnell joins us now with a look ahead. Jack, here we are, the state of the state. What will you be watching for tomorrow afternoon?
Well, this is when it all gets real in Albany, right? So the governor really drives the budget. So we're going to hear a lot from her about her plans, starting with affordability, right? We've heard about that all over the state. We heard a lot of that from the new mayor of New York City. So what are her plans? What's she going to do about it? We know she's going to talk about energy, costs, right? A big thing here, child care, probably a couple other surprises.
How important do you think, given that politics has changed, drastically in recent years, of course, President Donald Trump having a big impact, of course, nationally and on the state of New York. How important do you think the state of the state address really is today in modern day politics?
It's still very important, right? This is where the governor is going to set out what she wants to happen. She's got a lot of power in New York and an ability to do it. And this is her opportunity to connect with voters, right? Say, this is what I believe in, and see if it matches up versus some of the rhetoric from the White House or from other elected officials.
Now, over the last week, she already previewed a good amount of proposals. What were kind of some of the big ones that stood out to you?
Well, absolutely. The biggest one by far was talking about child care. We heard from the new mayor of New York City, who campaigned on universal child care. This is a few steps away from that, but the governor says she's going to guarantee pre-K, pre-K3, bring that across the state. And then in New York City, they're going to do some trial programs around actual daycare for 2-year-olds. So that's a big step, logistically very hard, very expensive, but how that's going to work and what it means for the rest of the state is something we'll be listening for tomorrow.
And do you think that it's important for her to set sort of a relationship, a partnership really, with the new mayor of New York City, right, Zohran Mamdani? Do you think that it's important for her to strike that tone and, I don't know, maybe not even mention President Donald Trump in this address?
I think she'll be hard-pressed to get through this without talking about Donald Trump, whether it's the big, beautiful bill that we were hearing about earlier on the show, or ICE agents, right? We expect her to make a proposal around protecting some of the vulnerable New Yorkers from ICE and sort of how that works in New York. So I think the other real theme of this is balance, right? How does she reach out to the folks who voted for Zohran Mamdani, but not lose the folks who support Donald Trump, or at least find that middle ground?
And then looking after tomorrow afternoon, looking at the current political landscape, how do you anticipate this budget process will go?
Well, again, a lot of this is about sort of that balance, right? We just heard, again, about people losing health care and the impact on New York. We've heard from the Trump administration cutting some other funds for New York. How do you make up for that at the same time not raising personal income tax, something the governor's talked about, and trying to balance the needs of business and attract jobs to New York while also, achieving that ambitious agenda? So that's going to be a tough job.
And of course, this is a re-election year for the governor. How important do you think it is to strike a certain tone that, she's in charge, right?
Very much so, right? I think New Yorkers want their governor to be a larger-than-life figure. They want someone who's leading, right? So this is her opportunity to do that and really set the agenda going forward over the next 6 months.
For any viewers out there who may not be up to speed right now, what does the race currently look like right now? Whose hat's in the ring?
Well, the interesting thing for the governor is she's got a challenge from both sides. Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado is running as a Democrat, is running in a primary against her. And then Republicans are coalescing around Bruce Blakeman, who's the Nassau County executive, much more conservative, but someone who's just reelected in a Democratic county in Nassau County on Long Island. So she's got to balance both of those things again, right? Between the Democratic energy on the far left, the progressive left, embodied by Zohran Mamdani in New York City, but also those moderates out there who don't like that socialist tag.
It's interesting, and of course you're the political expert here, but for the lieutenant governor, obviously to be challenging the governor, that's unusual. But even for a State of the State address, right, we probably wouldn't expect the lieutenant governor to be there under these circumstances. Would this be maybe one of the first State of the State addresses in which the lieutenant governor isn't even there? And if that is the case, I mean, how unusual would that be?
This is very unusual, but it's New York, so it's not that it hasn't happened before. George Pataki was governor. His lieutenant governor famously stood throughout his speech to kind of, Betsy McCullough-Ross stood to draw attention to herself. Strange things happen in New York politics, but it is pretty unusual.
And do you have an idea of how her approvability rating is looking among New Yorkers right now?
Yeah, you know, it's been creeping up over the last 6 months. I think some of that is being a Democrat, not being a Trump Republican at that time, right? We've seen Trump's numbers really dip, especially in New York. So, you know, it's a reaction to that. And you know, I think people are getting to know her. But I think she actually likes that middle ground with the far left here, the far right here, and try to be in that middle ground where I think a lot of New Yorkers are.
All right, we will all be watching tomorrow, 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
From Albany, New York State Governor Kathy Hochul will be delivering her State of the State address. Political analyst Jack O'Donnell, thank you for coming on in.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Still to come at 4:30.